He tended to only feed her when she succumbed to the hunger and gave the man who had turned her exactly what he wanted: utter obedience. Despite her weakened state, Caitlin continued to yank at the iron cuff. Others would have said it was futile, a wasted attempt to free herself. But Caitlin knew the day she gave up entirely would be the day the last spark of humanity burned inside of her. He'd tried for almost a year to make her his, yet the fact that she bucked against everything he was tended to amuse him. Ignoring the sharp pain as the iron cuff grazed her broken skin, Caitlin sank down onto the elegant four-poster bed. She was dressed simply in a silky, red-laced chemise, specifically picked out by her master because he said he loved how the red made the cream of her skin so biteable. Caitlin did not see it. When she looked in a mirror, all that peered back at her was a young woman with eyes sunken from hunger, hollow cheeks, and skin as pale as death itself. The room itself gave the impression of a lover's room. Take away the cuff, and it could have been a room meant to share with her husband, before she had become one of the undead, of course. Luxurious drapes of the finest material hung in waves, blocking out the sunlight. The room lived in perpetual darkness, only illuminated by the flicker of a sparse few candles. An antique dressing table, wardrobe, and chest of drawers lay out of reach from Caitlin, her chain having been shortened after she'd broken off a piece of wood and attempted to stake herself. The bed sprawled out in an elaborate curve like a sleigh, and it was large enough to sleep several bodies at once. Sometimes, when she bucked against him on stronger days, he would take multiple lovers to bed and make her sleep alongside him afterwards, the scents of his lovers mingling with his own as he curved his body around hers. Caitlin's skin crawled on those occasions, unable to sleep as she offered consolation to her mind by ruminating on the many ways in which she wanted to end his reign of tyranny. Her ears twitched as graceful, purposeful steps came down the hallway. She gave a yank at her chain, wincing ever so slightly at the burn, and stood up to see that he did not spy her atop the silken sheets and get any ideas. The door opened, and the monster with the face of an angel, the monster who had taken Caitlin's soul from her, came into view. His handsome features and eyes of endless black came alive under the flickering of the flames. The aura that surrounded him, the scent of seduction that brought men and women to their knees in praise of him, made the monster in her want to strip bare for him and be taken. Yet the human she had once been, strong and willful, refused to allow that monster to be set free. He stood before her, a single red rose held between his fingers. A shiver ghosted over her spine. He did this when he planned to be especially cruel. Caitlin lifted her head and held his gaze despite the sense of doom in her stomach. He smiled then, an evil, sinister smile that usually meant death. Short of getting on her knees and begging him to kill her, Caitlin knew he would never let her go. "My Rose, how ravishing you look this eve." His words were husky with lust, spoken in her native tongue. The last time he had tried to take her, she had clawed at his face and fought so hard she'd managed to draw blood. He had beaten her senseless after, and as she lay broken and bloody, he had kissed her cheek and professed his love. He always claimed to love her, that she made him hurt her because she refused to admit she loved him too. When she did not reply, his smile darkened even further. He came to stand in front of her, running the rose's petals across her lips. He pressed down harder, and thorns scored her cheek. Setting the rose down atop the bed, he grasped her face in his hand.